The Evil Brother, a story of betrayal, spoken in fairy tale prose, by I. Henry. Book 2, The Story of Marai. When I was about 5 years old, I remember running into the forest near my palace, chasing after a ball I had been playing with that was lost in the woods. When I got there was a woman waiting, a kindly-looking woman standing with my ball, ready to hand it back to me. Did you lose this, young princess?" she asked. "Yes, I did. Thank you very much," I replied. "Here you are." She handed me my ball. She also handed me something else, a gift, she said. "This gift will protect you should you ever run into any trouble," she said. "Make sure you wear it day and night, and don't tell anyone I have given it to you, or you might lose your protection." With that, she fastened the amulet she had been handing me around my neck on a necklace. "Thank you," I said. "You are very kind." And with that, she was gone. Unsure whether she had actually been there, I felt the amulet around my neck and decided she had. So I would be protected, I thought, and ran back to my castle, still playing with my ball. Fast forward 25 years later, I've been lured to a cavern full of ice by none other than my own brother. You see, he told me that day that my 5-year-old daughter was in trouble. "She has run off into the woods," he said one morning. "And while we were looking, I think she had run into this cavern," he shouted. So I ran over to the cavern, rushing to save my child. But when I got there, it was too late. I was trapped inside an ice-covered cavern, and he immediately chained me to the wall. I knew I would be unable to leave with the use of my magic. "Why have you done this?" I asked. "Where is my daughter?" "She is safe," my brother Deirdre replied. "I wish I could say the same for you." "What is wrong with you?" I asked. "You are my brother. Why are you doing this?" But I already knew the answer. You see, Deirdre was jealous. In this kingdom, Realm 215, only women had the use of magic. Therefore, they would be crowned the rulers of each kingdom. Men did not have magic unless it was bestowed upon them by a willing witch. So Deirdre, knowing that he would never have the control that he wanted, had decided instead to betray me. "You know why," he said. "Why should you have the right? Why should you be the heir to this throne and not me?" Deirdre responded, "You know there are other paths to the throne. I care nothing for the throne. If you give me my daughter, you may have it. You know that if you lived a wholesome life, you could have that magic just bestowed upon you, and you would be fit to hold this throne. Instead, you have committed every infraction. You have broken every law of this land, which are the only things that have kept you from having magic bestowed upon you. That was your choice, not mine. Lead a wholesome life," he scoffed. "As you said, princess, there are other paths to get to the throne, which is the one I am taking now. And you will be banished." Deirdre If you hurt my child, you will pay, I replied. Don't worry, he said. I will take good care of her. And with that, he opened a portal, somehow, to my right and pushed me through to the land of the banished. I had no idea what was happening at first until I opened my eyes and saw someone talking, standing over me. I was laying on the ground of what seemed to be a dark cavern, freezing cold, so I knew I had no magic, barely able to breathe. When all of a sudden I heard a voice next to my ear. Get up, the voice said. Sounded like the voice of a woman. Get up or you will die. I couldn't move. I heard what she said, but my strength was gone. Get up, you will die, she said. You will lose, she said, more than you can imagine. Still, my body wouldn't cooperate. Your daughter needs you, she said. Move. With that, I gasped in what air I could and used all my strength to push myself with my elbows onto my side. Move to the edge of the cavern where the wall meets the floor. It will be warmer there, she said. Your magic will slowly begin to return. So I moved, pulled myself across the cavern floor to the edge of the cavern where the wall met the floor in an attempt to get there to the warmth. By the time I reached the wall, I was barely able to move again, but I was able to sit up against it. Who are you? I asked. You will remember once your vision returns. As I came to my senses, I was able to see the figure standing in front of me, and I immediately recognized her as the woman who had been in the woods when I was a small child and I lost my ball. I hadn't paid close attention at the time. She was tall, slender, like me, and she had a silver streak in her hair that went from the front to the back on the left side of her head. How is this magic here? I asked, for I remembered Deirdre sending me to the land of the banished, a land where I knew no magic existed. It was given to me by the ancient fairies in the trees, she said. Why would they do this? The trees hate everyone. For some reason, they have taken favor upon you, she said. I believe it has something to do with your brother's new magic. Where did Deirdre get this magic? I asked. I don't know, but it is dark and it is evil. So you must get back to your daughter and save her before it is too late. The amulet you wear is melting the ice and warming this cavern, but you have been asleep for a very long time. See, before Deirdre sent you here, he threw a forever sleeping flower in the portal with you. So you have been asleep for many years. How long? I asked, afraid of her answer. 20 years, she said. But that is no matter now. Now, we can use the magic of the amulet to get you back to your kingdom, save your daughter, and take your rightful place at the throne. What you must do is hold the amulet with both hands and say, "Return me to my land," 3 times, she said. So I did this with no hesitancy. I needed to save my daughter. Return me to my land. Return me to my land. Return me to my land. With that, I was standing inside my palace. I saw Deirdre standing behind my now young adult daughter, and anger overcame me. I started towards him, running. I ran so fast I was flying. I flew into a whirlwind with my magic returned, whirling around him and creating a portal. And we were again back in the same cavern in which he had betrayed me 20 years ago. With my hand on his throat, I held him against the wall of the cavern. No longer encased in ice, my magic was in full bloom. Do you know what it's like, I said, to be taken from your family? Before he could respond, I said, do you know what it's like to be on the brink of death for 20 years? I asked. You are my sister, he replied. I am sorry for what I have done. I regret what I have done. I love you. I am happy to see you. Keep your lies for someone else, I replied. You were not sorry when you lied to me about my daughter being trapped in this cavern. You were not sorry when you decided to use dark magic to take what was not yours lawfully. You were not sorry when you would send me, your own sister, even to my death, to sleep for 20 years or more, forever, in the land of the banished. And now, I realize that although you were my brother, you are sick, and even sicker than I've ever imagined. So, I'm sending you with the very dark magic you are continuing to use, and as the threat you pose to me and my family, to the very place you tried to send me. I am still your brother, he said. I have no brother, I replied. And with that, I recited the last phrase he would hear from me for a very long time in the form of a spell. On this day and at this time, let he who speaks from both sides of his face return to the land of the banished and take my place. With that, he was gone. And with my magic, I was back inside my castle. I heard someone say my name. Mother, she said. And I turned to my daughter and fainted. When I awoke, I was in my old room. It's the same as it had been 20 years earlier. I was alone, or so I thought. When I sat up, I realized someone was in the room with me, and I had an idea who it was. Why did you help me all those years ago? I asked. I think you know, she said. As I looked toward the mirror on the side of my bed, I saw the fine gray streak beginning to grow on the left side of my head from the front to the back. I was looking at myself, only older. I turned again back to the woman sitting in my room with me. You are me, I said. From the future? Yes, she replied. The magic of the trees has allowed me to time travel, to save you from Deirdre's plan and the dark magic he acquired. You see, the first time around, You did not make it out of the cavern. You never awoke from your sleep. For some reason, the trees have bestowed favor upon you. And I am sure that you will be hearing from them soon. One thing, Marai, that I want you to remember before I go and the magic wears off, is that regardless of who you think you have as friend, family, or close loved ones in your life, no matter what, you always have yourself. And with that, she was gone. The end.